I've been out of house for, yes.
Everyone ready?
Oh.
All right. Welcome to the IMU Board of Trustees. This February 24th, we're going to go ahead and get started. Call to order.
Yes, Celebrate.
Present.
White.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Rosca.
Yes.
Voice.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to open up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak should come to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. No one? All right. Need a first and second motion to approve the consent agenda. Discussion?
So move. Second.
Approval of claims? Approval of minutes of the prior meeting? All right. Roll call?
Celebrate.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Rosca.
Yes.
Voice.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, move on to electrical utility action items. Need a first and second motion for resolution 2025 approving the purchase of a portable air compressor, hose, and breaker for the electric department.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Uh-oh, that guy.
We've got, I'll fill in for Mike here. We went out for bids, we got 3 bids back, and the recommendation is to go with the low bid from Star Equipment. This bid is under the budget, and he talked about the need at the last meeting. If you guys have any questions about that, what, the planned usage for.
Have we ever worked with the Star Equipment Group?
Yeah, they're a regular vendor.
That was the only question.
This is specifically for what? Is this a replacement or is this to do something different? Refresh my memory.
This is, we haven't had one before. Sometimes we do use this compressor we borrow from the street department. But as we will be using this compressor for the undergrounding work, over the next, 10 years or so, it seems like a good time to purchase one of our own so we don't have to keep theirs in perpetuity.
And since you brought up the undergrounding work, when are we going whole hog on that?
They are working quite a bit. We've got a full crew dedicated to the north side, and then the north side will kind of turn into First Street. Now those are complicated.
After the square?
Yeah, those are complicated undergroundings and are kind of slow per the foot. After the north side and the First Street undergrounding is kind of when we'll head south of 92, and that's, I think, that's been engineered out. It's ready to go, and I think you'll probably see more distance, and it'll look like we're accomplishing more per day. As we do those less crowded than the downtown build-outs.
Roll call?
Celebrate.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Rosca.
Yes.
Voice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Electric utility informational items.
Crews are enjoying the getting back outside with the warmer weather. We're currently working on transmission pole replacements for our ownership that goes between here and Patterson. Those 69 kV transmission poles. Getting price, getting vendors, making arrangements for that. We are still working on the water, the emissions portion of the turbinate. We use demineralized water for injection, and we are looking at some equipment to start replenishing that ourselves. Our ratios are up, and now we'll be using it more often at more temperatures and more conditions, and we really need this as a part of our reliability. We're gathering that information to have a demineralized water solution. Hopefully it's on site. We're going back and forth between, is this something we can just get delivered? But obviously the delivery charges are really expensive when it comes to water, for a water product that we make ourselves. So we're pricing out the RO system and demineralization for those emissions. And we also still haven't heard anything back on the DNR, good, bad, or indifferent with regards to the emissions test.
How much demineralized water would we need?
It's injected at 1 gallon of fuel, 80%. Has an 80% ratio, I think, is where they 78 or 80%. I don't know what the final adjustment was. So for when it comes to turbine 8, when we run it, we'll use 0.8 of a gallon per gallon of fuel. And as you recall, those things can use 30 gallons a minute. So we have an 80,000 gallon storage for runs.
So we would still have to figure out our approximate, how much water we want to store on site and.
We've got an 80,000 gallon tank and.
For water?
Yeah, for the water
okay.
injection. So this would be how to refill that and replenish it. Now, we don't need to produce it at the same rate we use it, obviously, because we have the storage tank, and so there's the, can we get by with something that produces, 100 gallons a day, or, in knowing that, our
Okay,
turbine
plenty of
generally
backup.
sits for a long time before. So they're pricing that out, making the, best choice of all of that, and we'll, as soon as we get that, that'll be an important part of, now that we're more reliant on demineralized water, it'll be an important part of our production facility.
What is demineralized water? What's the difference in, it just takes everything out of it?
Tastes like crap. Now, you can buy that stuff at like Hy-Vee and stuff like
Like
that.
a purified
Yeah.
water.
Yeah,
it's
it's just a
purified water
highly
then?
purified water. It takes all, regular water has some irons and calciums and all the other fluorides that occur naturally. This is taking everything out, and everything down to everything.
Yes, I've never purchased.
Is that a new requirement? Or is that something we've always done, we just not heard of before?
We have the 80,000 gallon tank, and it's been refilled, a long time ago. We're using it at a higher ratio. Our prior ratios, I think, were 40% to 1, or 1 to,
Okay.
or a 1 to 40% ratio.
So what changed?
The emissions requirements and what it takes to get the emissions requirements down there now takes more water to reduce the nitric oxides and science, and we need twice as much as we did before.
But it sounds like once it's filled, it could last for years.
I mean, under normal circumstances,
Yeah.
Again, we want to
Unless
be
we
able
have
to run
a
this.
dire need and we need
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, seems like just getting it delivered might be easier and cheaper, but.
Yeah, the productions aren't too bad. I mean, delivery of a tanker, we're getting that priced out. We originally planned on delivery, but the delivery was far more expensive than planned, and the recommendation morphed into an on-site facility.
Okay.
Water utility informational items.
Oh, and Mike wanted to correct that we can use 1,800 gallons an hour. So
He's listening. It's gonna be a good saving that.
Well,
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to speak for. I think the last meeting I gave a filter update. We are projected to get 3 semi-truckloads of sand tomorrow, followed with another 2 truckloads of the remaining material plus the filter troughs. Projected start date is still March 10th. I got that confirmation today, so they should be on site the week of March 10th, and we'll be underway with getting the filters redone. Kudos to the guys today, being short-staffed. Unfortunately, we got a main break. They were able to work through it and get it fixed in a timely manner. And then, again, just gearing up for spring projects and anxious to get out and start.
2 nice days and everybody's ready to go.
With that being said, there's quite a bit of frost in the ground, so
Positive thinking.
it is, yes.
So is the main break right there on the highway?
Yes, yep.
I just happened to drive by, saw the truck, but I wasn't sure.
Yep, unfortunately it's concrete, so we'll have concrete work to do.
Were you out there shoveling?
No, unfortunately, our little employee had a procedure today, so I was,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
The person out there looks similar to you, so I was like, okay, well, I must be shorthanded if James does this out there.
Yeah, we were shorthanded, that was for sure.
So can we talk a little bit about, maybe you want to put that off until later. There was a note, Chris, you said some explanation about the water main and the fire conversation. Is that something you want to address later, or can I ask questions about it?
You can ask questions, I think, yeah, between Justin and I, we can,
So I assume that was raised up because of, the resolution was the communication, obviously, and through the messaging. Is that something that you thought would flare up, or was it something that happened and you thought you'd had it taken care of?
Communication was the biggest part of it. I think the main takeaway was people went to the wrong sources before they knew the whole story, which then led it to get out of hand. Like I said, the fire was, I think, Friday morning around midnight-ish, and between me, the chief, and the fire marshal, we had it resolved by 8 o'clock Friday morning.
And was this with the new fire chief, or was this still
The new fire
prior?
chief. New fire chief, yep. It just went to the point where the hydrant not being there, but there, like I said in the email, there's plenty of hydrants in the area, so there was really no concern of having water. It was just back to the communication, and we resolved that. And
Okay. So I guess with all the people involved, and you know how things get out in town, are always 10 times worse than what they probably were to start with. I didn't know if there was a way for us to maybe have been informed that had happened and that it was raised up, because it felt like it was kind of after the fact, you know, how we get tapped on the shoulder or on the street or whatever.
so I notified Chris, told him the situation or what had happened, and I guess honestly thought it was resolved and gonna not go to what it did, and then it just
And it
blew out from there.
Okay.
But to the point though, the fire was knocked down with water on the truck.
Which is most important. Right?
Yes, yep. So when I saw the chief, they were a very minimal time that they didn't have any water while they were hooking up to the fire hydrant. So it was.
I didn't look, did you put anything out on Facebook after he contacted you then? I didn't even check Facebook, I never thought about doing it.
I don't know that I would do that. I mean, I was just more about the board being informed. So when we did get approached by people, we weren't standing there looking and saying, oh, I didn't know there was an issue. But
yeah, I mean, the chief seemed happy with the resolution. I mean, he knows mistakes happen. It was, don't let it happen again. He seemed satisfied, and, otherwise it was kind of a, normal course of communications, let down, and, like I said, it became a bigger deal than anyone expected. Just,
I'd appreciate though, if like you just put it doesn't have to be a long, just a blurb to tell us that there was a fire or whatever, and to the board. I think that would be really helpful.
it doesn't have to be the city. I was just thinking if you let the board know this happened, it's been taken care of, but just in case, then we're in a position that we get to support Justin and say, I understand there was an issue, the communication's been addressed, and I think we're on our way forward. Otherwise, we're kind of stuck without, we didn't know anything was going on.
Yeah, no, we can try to improve that. That was just, it in a lot of cases when, the questions were raised here, we didn't have all the answers at that point either, so.
That's fair. I just wanna be able to support our team and not look like I'm uninformed, which I am sometimes.
All right. Communications, utility, informational items.
Yep, I don't have a lot either. We're kind of just normal business for into February, so it is nice we can find handholds again, which we couldn't last week, so that's fun stuff. The only other thing I've got to report is we have been doing interviews, had second round of interviews today, so we should bring a full-time recommendation to you on March 10th for your approval.
Did you get a good number of applicants?
Yeah, we didn't do too bad. I think actually a couple more come in today. 14, I think, is what we had come in. We interviewed 4 and brought back 2. So yeah, yeah, got a good representation, which is always nice. So.
How many temporary installs are you gonna have the fixed?
You know, I haven't looked at the board recently, though. Eric and I talked here not too long ago. The guys weren't too terribly concerned about this year. I mean, there's probably 30, 40 up on the board, but compared to past years, it's similar or less. So yeah. So hopefully in March we'll kind of see what the weather does. But like Justin said, there's definitely some frost in the ground. Those north sides of buildings and houses are going to take a while to thaw out this year. So.
All right. Combined electric, water, and communication items. Fiscal year 2026 budget. Need a first and second motion to open public hearing for fiscal year 2026 budget.
Moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We don't have any updates. As we work through the budget process, all the numbers are the same as we discussed in our last meeting. For everyone's benefit, I just wanted to go across a couple of our changes, and I'll turn over the video to Kurt. It was a little added complexity. When it comes to water, our budget includes a 25 cent base fee increase from $12 to $12.25, and 43 on the per 1,000 gallon marginal rate. For an average home, that's an effective increase of 4.7%. On the electric side, we are doing a 4.5% across the board. So for all rate classes and situations, we're kind of increasing that 4.5%. That covers our 11% wholesale rate increase. And obviously with the caveats of next year, largely depends on what our wholesale rate looks like for next year. When it comes to video,
Can we, before you move on to video, the study that you shared from other cities around their water and sewer rates, water seems to be kind of in the blend, and I know this is not fair to probably ask you this, but that seems to come hand in hand with water. The sewer, we're like number 1 and 2 on that chart. Is that because of the new facilities that took us to that?
yeah, I mean, ultimately it was and of course this is speaking just from secondary information. That I think the rates are there to support the new $47 million facility.
I can't recall, are they gonna increase that this year for 26?
I know
I
there's
can't remember.
I know there's been some talk at what that rate increase would be, what it would include. The city is probably the best information. I've heard a number of different scenarios what it could be. And
We talked a little bit about some of our messaging earlier and how we would maybe try to get some of our communications out to the public. I feel like we get lumped with the sewer a lot in the conversations I get into, and so I'm trying to be meaningful or being, there are 2 functions here, and yes, they are both separate and they do somewhat depend on each other. But maybe in one of our flyers to explain water, sewer, all the different components and why they are what they are.
I think in our last flyer, and now I don't know if I'm looking at a preview or this will be the one coming out in March, there is a little more detailed explanation about the bill. I was also going to work with, Aaron. I think the one thing that, Mike in particular, in the electric, I think he takes a lot of heat for $400 electric bills or $500 electric bills, but electric is just a small fraction of that larger, what it might include water, sewer, electric, stormwater recycling, video services, and you know, I know I kind of, I know it's easy for the public to say, my electric bill, my IMU bill,
Right.
IMU bill becomes electric, but it's a lot more complicated than that,
And I understand that, I am just suggesting that as we maybe move forward, because we're all gonna have increases, that's just a fact. It just might be prudent to do some kind of discussion about what those entail and why.
How many people come up to you and ask you that?
Oh my God, I've heard the sewer one from about 15 different people. And I can't even answer that one. And until I saw the note that you sent this week, I'm like, well, no wonder they're complaining.
I'm just saying, I've not had a single person ask, and I don't know where you're hanging
I
out.
must have been so much like.
I'm thinking, you got a bunch of people.
looks
that
like
like
she
to-
wants to talk about sewer.
Well,
so-
look at it, I'm on the church board, I'm on the People's Bank board, I get out, I have coffee. I just feel like that's a place that seems to come up quite a bit, and so whatever we could do to help people understand that. They may not like it, and I'm not suggesting that we're ever gonna get people to all like it, but if they can understand why.
We got a try at that, at least what you can fit on a page of paper at our
I
next.
think having Aaron involved was helpful from the city too, so.
Yeah, I was hoping he could kind of, at least on the city side, kind of support our message, that, we work together, we're on a bill to save together, to save money, but, there's different decision-making bodies too, so.
Well, speaking of the board, or the bill, I think, is there potential we can dig a little bit harder into seeing if we can't separate out the two sections, just see, so that it's more clear, this is the city of Indianola portion, this is the IMU portion? I think,
Alicia's been working that, I'll let her kind of explain how far she's got. And I think the short answer is, particularly with the sewer, because it's billed based upon your water meter, our billing system kind of needs to run them together, because they're all related to
well, I'm
that
not
same
saying
read.
separate the billing of it, like, so that it's two separate bills, but just be
Other
like,
itemized.
here's the itemized items from IMU, here's the itemized items from the city, and then it's easier for when we get phone calls to be like, as you can see here, these are items that we can help you with, but in the end, the city makes these decisions.
It is, I think we've done as much as the billing system will allow us into saying, here's something that's combined and we can't uncombine it, and we have city/IMU charges, and here's specifically your water charges, and that's IMU, and here's specifically your sewer, and it's the city of Indianola. Working under the constraints, I think we've done as much as we can.
And most people don't care. They just
Oh,
know
I
it's
get it,
water and
but-
sewer, and
yeah.
so.
And I understand, but it's always, sometimes there's ways to try to
Yeah,
make that perception.
and so we set it up there, and then I kind of also, Alicia's been, you wanna kind of pick up where you?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Innovative to try to get that separated with the water and the sewer, and they keep pushing back saying there's not any way for it because they're the same water meter. And I said, well, if you can do it on the second page, why can't we do it on the first page where people look a lot more? And they just said because it's the same meter, for some reason on that first page it will not split.
How do they separate on the second?
Can
They
you
just in
color
the same
code,
meter?
can you somehow or other color code
Yeah,
it?
I'm still working on it.
I mean,
I'm trying, yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't,
trying to
I don't,
think of something that,
they have not gave me that option, but yeah. They just kind of pushed back a little bit on it, but
they're fun
I keep
people,
asking.
aren't
Well,
they?
it's just interesting that they can give you data at one place, but maybe not the second place.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it just won't separate on that first page, but
I guess it's a programming thing, and listen to Meta right now, they're looking to use AI for all that stuff, so maybe they can look at that same thing, so. Their programmers can't do it, I mean, like you said.
Maybe you could do it.
I could type into ChatGPT.
I do, yeah. I do easy.
So. But,
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to hold this up on the water. You wanna move on?
Video.
video.
And video, you wanna,
Yeah, we'll have our standard increase. We got through all the retransmission agreements. Compared to where we were last year around this time, we're up about $6, so, in cost, so we'll probably come to you with a $5 increase for video this year. ESPN and Discovery channels are the big ones for next year, so we'll kinda see where they go. The hope would be that those would be under $5, so we could do another $5 increase next year and then get caught up to where we should be, so.
Is ESPN still, are they bundled?
Oh, yeah, with Disney, so, yeah. Yeah, that will be an ugly one, but I'm hoping overall, maybe it's only a couple bucks amongst all the channels, but we'll see where they end up, so.
Like every other streaming, it's gonna go up.
Yeah, they all hit, everybody's going up, so, yeah.
so for all of those, we're gonna set the public hearing at our next meeting, and then the 24th, we'll have those, actual meeting, we will hold the public hearings, to raise those rates.
And is the intent would be the first bill, or the billing in April, then those would be effective?
It'll be the usage in April, you'll see it in May 1st, yeah.
They'll go into effect when?
You'll see it in the bills on the May 1st bill.
May 1st.
And Monica, I'm gonna ask, were we supposed to roll call before that?
Yes, we will do a roll call. No, we don't do it before, do it.
Can I ask a
I had
question?
yes, go ahead.
Yes, when we go to close.
And I apologize if you guys discussed this at the last one, but where did you end up with discussions with the city on shared services and how to split those costs?
We haven't resolved anything yet. We've got our estimates and our hopes in the budget, so we're funded what should work. But the city's been busy with their budget and haven't come up with a full resolution at this point.
So discussions are ongoing with that.
Yeah.
We'll continue.
We did discuss it.
But this week you didn't hear any updates or anything?
No.
Keep at it.
Who do we need to talk to about that yet? Is it
I mean,
with the city
how
manager
much
being
longer do we
gone?
have before it's too late?
Well, for
30 seconds. We're gonna vote on it tonight.
Oh,
we're gonna vote on the ability to pay. We're gonna vote on the ability to
but we
pay.
can,
But that can be adjusted.
Change, adjusted.
Our expectation is it will decrease.
no,
or
I
follow
understand
where it will
that, but
decrease.
I mean, when will they finalize theirs? Is that at their next meeting? Is that right?
Previously, it's been at the end of March.
Oh,
We do ours earlier than that.
so then they can,
Yeah, since our information gets incorporated, we try
With
to
theirs,
beat that by a month,
So then we need to have a conversation with them about the shared services before, like,
Yep.
so this week, probably.
Yep, and we've got some of the items, I think there was some progress. We had been, they had a part-time position that we had been funding in there. We finally got the resolve that, we don't need to pay that, and we'll work in the refund for the part-time position that they haven't had since.
and they're in agreement
September.
with you?
Yeah, and they
Oh.
provided their calculations. That was that this early?
End of last week.
Yeah, end of last week.
HR or IT or what?
HR.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that position hasn't been there since September, the
Or
part-time,
earlier.
and they were charging us then?
And so then we'll get that money back? Or,
We're working on the exact mechanism. We have the amount that over the year that they'll refund back to us.
oh,
We're just
Whether
gonna
that
reduce so we've got like, March, April, May, June, 4 months left. They invoice us every month, so we're just gonna reduce that HR piece for the
Oh.
remainder of the fiscal year. So-
good.
Some progress, but we haven't the actual,
Yeah.
the full-time portion of that.
Well, that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so fiscal 26 is kind of the piece that we're waiting to hear back.
Yeah.
Roll call?
Yes. Celebrate,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Roscoe,
Yes.
Voight.
Yes.
Now I need a simple motion to close the public hearing. Ayes, nays?
So move.
Second.
All in
All
favor?
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That's
Am
up
I
to you.
supposed to say that? All right.
We can all do it.